So today I'm going to install the pistons on the crankshaft. I already installed the connecting rod with the wrist pin, and this is the cap for the connecting rod. What I did, couple of things. I put the lock washer or C lock, whatever you call these one, installed. And what I did, I made sure it's oiled. However, I'm not sure this hole is connected inside the connecting rod all the way to the wrist pin or not, but there is another hole at the end of this connecting rod on the top, which is inside the piston. But this hole is there, and what you want to do, and people told me, is the hole, there's a tiny hole on this outside of the connecting rod, and this is actually inside without the bearing installed. So this hole needs to be pointed, like if I install like this should be pointing towards the camshaft, because it's going to skirt oil on the cam while it's running. That's the purpose. And I've seen in the Ford manual there is a diagram. It shows there is a oil skirt comes out from this hole, which lubricate the camshaft. Also, one thing you need to do is have two pieces of these rubber pipes. I think they are, I don't know the diameter. If it says like WP 45. Anyway, what you need to do is just to cover these bolts so it won't scratch the crankshaft bearings when you are installing. That's a precaution. And also, each connecting rod has a matching number, and they are all numbered. So this is number 1. Usually whoever do the service first time, they mark it before unassembling it. So these are already marked. Even if it's not marked, your machinist will actually machine these with the crankshaft and then mark it. So you cannot just exchange one cap from another connecting rod with a different one. It has to go together because they were home machined to match this end of the connecting rod. So you cannot swap. So make sure you install in the same direction as it's coming out. I'm keeping track how I'm removing. So that's what it is. I'm going to install the bearing and lubricate it and install the first one. I have a tool to install the rings, the piston on the cylinder block. So this is the one I'm going to use. I bought it from Amazon, so it's cheap. All right, I'm going to proceed now. Hello everyone, I'm going to install those connecting rod bearing, and this is going to be the number 1 piston will be installed in the number 1 cylinder. And just in case if you not know, number 1 cylinder is the first front cylinder according to the Ford manual. And I'm using this kit supplied by bearing kit supplied by my machinist. This is the Cleveland Mahle MAHLE bearing. I believe these are very standard for these tractors, because most of the time I've seen, and this is over 30,000, I believe. Dash 30 mean 30,000. So same thing is for the crankshaft. I have the similar one, dash 30 or 030. So that's the size of the sleeve, that dictates the size of the sleeve also. So I'm going to install this bearing first in the cap. Very simple. We need to match one side in the notch, and I will. Alright, here's the bearing. I'm going to put in the notch first and make sure these holes match with the hole inside the outer parts, which is in the cap there is no hole, but on the connecting rod side there should be a one hole to meet. Going to push, keep the thumb on the side and push it, and that's it. That's how you install. And I'm going to put this aside. Same thing going to be repeated on this side. So there's a hole, and this hole will overlap this one on the connecting rod, and I'm going to put my thumb and push it on one side, so surface will oops, see, rubber got my this guy is stuck, so I have to make sure there's nothing underneath. So I'm going to wiggle it out. All right, very gently. So there's nothing behind, just to make sure, nothing behind. I'm going to put it back, and this time I'll make sure my rubber gloves doesn't get mined. I stick behind it. All right, and here we go. All right, very easy. And the hole meets okay, sounds good. I'm going to put back this, and if you notice, I'm going to install these rubber pipe pieces like curving outside, so when it goes towards the crankshaft it's going to go outside. So a little bit what you call is paying attention to the detail. Hopefully this is my first one, so I'm not screwing up anything. Zoom. All right, so this is a compressor, ring compressor I have. So it's going to open up too much, and let me see, I need more. All right, that's all. So this is a ring compressor. I'm going to put it around. One thing you want to make sure, all these rings, there are 4 rings, 2 oil rings, and there is a spacer which is like zigzag or kind of a staircase, so it is a spacer, and these are 2 oil rings. The other one is the scraper, the black one, and the first one is the compression ring. What you need to do is, if you notice, these rings have gap and they are already measured, but they need to be not in the same side. They have to stagger. So if this is for me, what I did is I kept the first one in all 4 pistons on this side, and the second ring is on the other side, and these for third and fourth, what I did, I put it on this side. One is here, one is here, so they are away from each other. I believe this is how it's supposed to be, and that's what I'm doing. So I'm going to put this My son is assisting me for the video, and he's tired. Alright, I think I twisted this compressor, so I'm not sure if it's going to move the Yep, it did. So because of the compressor, my ring went in. Yeah, these 4-1 went. They are supposed to be this much. Now they went both. They move both together. So making adjustment. This one is here. This one is here. This one sounds good. So this time I make sure I'm not gonna mess up. So it's too big. So you need some octopus hands to do many things together. Right, so this is the best way, I think. So if I put and utilize my table properly, it's going to be like this. Alright, this time I don't want to move anything. In YouTube videos, it seems very simple, but when I'm doing it, it seems a little hard. So I think I need to unwind a little bit. Alright, stop it. Alright folks, 3 pistons installed. If you see the last one remaining, just for the note again, this is a piston. It has a groove. That groove is supposed to point this groove. Alright, so this groove, let me put it back. The other one I don't need. Alright, so this groove needs to point to the front of the engine or the tractor. So this is the side where the cam and the governor goes. This is the side where the flywheel gets installed on the crankshaft. If you see that, this big shaft flange, and again, so 3 are installed. What I was doing actually, making sure this slot is moving forward for all pistons, as well as if you see this hole inside the connecting rod, it has opposite side on the outside of the crankshaft, very tiny one, tinier than the inside one, which you will be able to locate. Should be able to locate. Right here. So if I place towards the, I don't know. Anyway, so this is a hole that's supposed to be facing towards the cam, so it can skirt oil when it's running. That's important. And if you see, both things should be on the same side, so this slot and this hole pointing, this sword is pointing to the front, and this all pointing to the camshaft. I don't know how many times I repeat, but somehow it was stuck in my head. So I want to make sure. And one more thing is, one of the piston actually took me more time, because one of the piston, so I was installing number 1, and I wanted to install number this one, but I installed the piston, it's supposed to be the piston number 4. I installed number 2 in this because I wanted to install first this and this. But make sure when you install, this is number 1, this is not number 2, this is number 4. So 1 and 2 go side by side, and 2 and 3 will be together. So that's the position of the crankshaft. So make sure you number it, make sure the hole are pointing from the connecting rod towards the camshaft. Make sure any indication on the top of the piston is pointing to the front. Everything should be aligned. You can do it wrong, incorrectly, but I think if you pay attention, you won't go wrong. It's easy peasy. Make sure use a lot of lubricant. This one is the last one. What I'm doing at this time, actually, I want to show you one thing, is how to compress the piston rings for the installation. So everything is slippery right now. I'm wearing glove and oil and the surface, deck surface and everything. So what I figured out, I'm going to show you in a second how I'm doing it. So take this, I'm going to put this here, I'm going to put this key here to tighten it up, and I need one more thing. Here it goes, yes, this is the one. This is the extension rod for the socket wrench. What I'm doing I'm placing it in this hole, and then I can put it inside the cylinder. So it will help me to install this compressor. That way I don't need any other second person to hold it, and just making sure I'm not scratching the deck, everything, so it doesn't go all the way inside, while keeping this part on top of the block, so I can actually compress using this compressor. And that's it. Remember, it's so slippery everything right now. I made a big mess, but there's no such thing as a lot of oil. Yeah, that's how you say it. Yeah. All right, folks. Bye. All right, folks. Before I wrap up, I want to show you what is the main bearing, crankshaft bearing specs or number I'm using. This is the one. This is a main crankshaft bearing rings. Main bearings for crankshaft, 4 of them, 6 of them, 2 for front and middle, and 2 for front and rear, and 1 for middle. So total 6 pieces. So that's the one, and you know the company, you know, that's the one. And for piston connecting rods, these are the one, and this is the number. So just for the sake of verbosity, I just want to make sure people know what has been used. So that's it. I believe this is the indication of also the sleeve size. So like dash 30 mean 30,000 or 30,000 over. So the kit sleeves comes in at, I believe, 45 and 90, or 40 and 90. So this is the one they actually hone and bore the sleeve to fit this size, I believe, the machines. So that's all. These are 4 of them, 4 pairs for each piston, and that's all for now. Bye. All right, folks. So again, repeating the last video, is I just did the complete installation of crankshaft, camshaft, all these main bearing bolts, those caps bolt here, like 1 2 3 4 5 and 6. They are torqued to 102 foot-pound, and these one for piston connecting rods, 1 2 3 4 5 6 and 7 8. These are torqued to 47 45. Actually I took it to 2 more, 47 foot-pound per second per foot-pound torque, and I torqued it to that specs. However, when I'm trying to spin it, it spins fine. The only thing is I feel like some resistance when the weight of the crankshaft are vertical. That's the time, so I'm going to spin with this. Alright, so if you notice, you may hear also, exclude the sound of the traffic in the background. Alright, this vertical, no resistance. When it's going to horizontal, so not sure where this is coming from, but this one, so since I tested the same thing, I spin the crankshaft, camshaft on every step. This is happening only after installing the pistons, before, or connecting rods. Other than that, before I didn't have this. So most likely it's introduced by the pistons. They are going against a wall, cylinder walls or sleeve wall. So that's the only thing. I believe once it has full lubrication, then it will work. However, I was not expecting that, but I will go with it. And on every step I make sure those caps are installed, connecting rods are installed in the same order it's supposed to be. The front is this side, and this is 1, this is 2, this is 3, this is 4. The rear one is a 4. That's how I installed. So not sure, but anyway, I'll proceed. Bye.